Hello and welcome back to Titsburg Feelers News. I am your host, TG13. Today we're going to discuss the Hall of Fame game, which is Thursday, coming up very quick. The top 10 players who should be drafted in the first round of the Titsburg Feelers, and news around the NFL. Let's get started. News around the NFL. Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers has reported a Packers training camp. That's big for, obviously, the Packers and Davante Adams this year. I don't think either one will be back next year. Aaron Rodgers won't be back next year. Davante Adams, I highly doubt. I would love to see them both in Denver next year, but we'll see. Packers have traded for Texans wide receiver Randall Cobb. I know Aaron Rodgers really wanted him when he was coming back to the Packers. And so they made that trade happen. So, what does that do to the other wide receivers? Davante Adams, I could see his volume going down. Aaron Rodgers wanted Randall Cobb for a reason. He's going to play in the slot. There's going to be a lot of slot passes. So what does that do to Lazard and the rookie wide receivers? First, Amari Rodgers. There we go. What's that going to do to Amari Rodgers? I was big on him coming into the year. He's going to play that slot position. But now with Randall Cobb there, he's going to get playing time unless there's an injury. Lazard, St. Brown, what's that going to do to them? Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson has reported to training camp. I know he's playing a little bit of safety this week. I don't think there's anything there. With the two new criminal charges coming out, he's not playing. He's not getting traded. I think I heard they wanted 3 first-round picks. They're not going to get 3 first-round picks. This thing, it's dead. There's nothing there. Eagles tight end Zach Ertz, the blonde boy, reports to training camp. This is big news for the Eagles, only because he said he wasn't going to go to training camp. He wasn't going to play for them this year. But this is big. This is good trade bait with him going to training camp. Like I said a couple weeks ago, I hope the Jags trade for him, maybe a 6th or 7th round pick. I think he's 30, 32, 31. Still got a little bit of miles on those legs. So, like I said, it's pretty big. They can trade him or play him this year. It'll help Jalen Hurts a little bit. He'll have somebody to throw to. So, pretty big news. Colts quarterback Carson Wentz has suffered an ankle injury. That's not good. Dino, I told you, Jags are looking at second in the division now without the Colts starting quarterback, who wasn't even that good to begin with. And actually, that goes into the next thing. Colts have signed quarterback Brett Hundley. So, not looking good for Carson Wentz. Could miss half the year. We don't know anything right now, but with them signing another quarterback, that's not good. That's not good news if you're trying to be positive about the situation. Raiders running back Theo Riddick has announced his retirement. The only reason I put that in there is because now it's just Kenyon Drake and Josh Jacobs in the backfield, which helps out A-Did. Theo Riddick was a passing running back, or the third down running back. So that helps Jacobs a little bit. That'll get some of his volume back. So that's really the only reason I put it in there. Theo Riddick's, he's nothing in fantasy, but it helps out A-Did, like I said, with Josh Jacobs. Bears wide receiver Anthony Miller has been traded to the Texans. It would be, fantasy-wise, it would definitely help if Deshaun Watson was there. But with Tyrod Taylor as a Texans quarterback, I liked Anthony Miller. He had a few flash games. But without Deshaun Watson, this isn't anything. No news. Seahawks have hired Shane Waldron as offensive coordinator. He was the Rams passing game coordinator, I think, since 2016. Only reason I put that in there is, we do have fantasy relevant, Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett. So, a little bit of Sean McVay up there. That'll help those guys out. I know Pete Carroll likes to run the ball, but who knows? Maybe with the new offensive coordinator, it might be a little bit more passing. Players to watch in the Hall of Fame game, which, like I said, is August 5th, Thursday. Steelers running back Najee Harris. I don't think he'll get a lot of playing time, maybe a couple carries, but it'll be nice to see him out there. By the way, very excited that football's finally back. Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. Again, I don't see much out of him, maybe a couple plays, but again, it'll be nice to see him out there. Cowboys running back Tony Pollard. This week, McCarthy said he didn't want to give Zeke 25 to 30 carries anymore. So it'd be nice to see Pollard, get some more volume. It'll be nice to see that offensive line and what Tony Pollard can do with them. Steelers wide receiver Chase Claypool. Obviously, I know Big Ben's not going to be throwing the ball, but it'd be nice to see Chase Claypool out there getting some passes, working on his routes. Steelers quarterback Dwayne Haskins, that'll be the quarterback throwing to him, unless he gets in trouble between now and then. But it'll be nice to see Dwayne Haskins. Is he the future in Pittsburgh? And could he take over this year? Big Ben's having a bad year, so hopefully he can do better than what he did in Washington. And Steelers tight end Pat Freiermuth. I really liked him going into the draft. There's a lot of good things coming out of Pittsburgh training camp right now about Freiermuth. He was the second best tight end in the draft. Very good blocker, pretty good pass catcher. Nothing like Kyle Pitts, pass catching wise, but he's still a good tight end. The Steelers love their tight ends. I put him in there. He probably won't be fantasy relevant this year, but in the next couple of years, he could be a name to keep an eye on. We did set our draft date this week, Sunday, September 5th. What is that? A month away. I mean, you got to start doing mock drafts. You got to start paying attention about what's going on. We know A-Did's taking Najee Harris number 1, but who's Dean going to take it number 2? Could it be Julio? Then again, Julio's in trouble right now. So who really knows? Who will be the first quarterback picked, and who? It'll probably be A-Did. He likes to take quarterbacks early. He tries to get the top 3 quarterback, whether Mahomes, Lamar, Kyler. I'd say Dak, but he's hurt right now. So, he'll try to get one of those quarterbacks pretty early. And then I'll be posting right after the draft just a breakdown of what I think, just a breakdown of the teams, how I think they are, and who won the draft, who lost the draft, who needs to start working towards the next year already, or who needs to start trading. Top 10 players that could go in the first round. Steelers running back Najee Harris, which I just said. That'll be A-Did number 1 unless there's an injury or for some reason, Baby D doesn't keep CEH or Dalvin Cook, something like that, something stupid. He'll be the first overall pick. Darren Waller, he'll be the number 1 tight end left in the draft after, Kelsey will be kept. And 49ers, why can I not think of his name? I got his face in my head. He'll be the 3rd tight end. He'll be the first tight end taken in the draft. He'll probably go first round. I mean, like I said, top 10 players that should go in the first round. He's up there. Washington wide receiver Terry McLaurin. Right there you have the number 1 running back, tight end, and wide receiver on the first 3 picks. If Terry McLaurin was on anybody else's team other than Dan's, he would be kept this year. But Dan, again, is loaded. So, that's pretty – he has Darren Waller too. So, those are 2 really good players. Like I said, on any other team, they would be kept. But Dan's stacked right now for his keepers. So, if you're in the first 3 picks, you're either getting a wide receiver, tight end, or running back. That's pretty good. Houston running back David Johnson, with Deshaun Watson there, I don't know. He'll get a lot of volume, but there's a lot of second tier players on that team. There's not a lot of first tier players outside of Deshaun Watson. So could he go first round? Probably, if somebody really needs a running back. If they kept 3 or 4 wide receivers and a tight end, they need a running back. That's gonna be your guy in the first round. 49ers, Raheem Mostert, same thing. If you really need a running back, those two, they're gonna get the most volume. So obviously outside of Najee. But yeah, so they're in the first 5 picks. You have 3 running backs going off the board. And you got to think there's 40 players kept. So you're running out of running backs pretty quick outside of that first round. So if you need a running back, first round's where you need to go. Second round, there's not going to be much left. Giants wide receiver Kenny Golladay. I heard Daniel Jones is not having the best training camp, and Kenny Golladay is not either. I know he ranked near the bottom of the league on separation. His thing is just contested catch, and I don't think Daniel Jones, one, he's that good of a quarterback where he could throw a ball where it needs to be, and I don't think he trusts himself to actually throw the ball to where it needs to be. He's going to look for the easy passes, or he's going to run and probably fumble, which he did a couple times yesterday. So, huge difference between Terry McLaurin and Kenny Golladay. Again, if you really need a wide receiver, that's about what you're looking at right now with Kenny Golladay. Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, talked about him going in Thursday. I don't think he'll get a lot of work this week, but it'll be nice to see him out there. He had a great one-handed catch this week in training camp. He has the potential to be a top 5 wide receiver in the next couple of years in the NFL. With Dak Prescott, I don't think Amari Cooper is going to be there that much longer. I think this will be his last year. So in the next couple of years, CeeDee Lamb could be a top 5 wide receiver in the league. So if you're a team and if you're able to keep a wide receiver that's a wide receiver 2 on his team for this year, if you can draft him this high, if you're willing to do that risk, I think in the next couple of years, like I said, you'll have a top 5 wide receiver. Titans wide receiver Julio Jones, talked about him a minute ago. He's in trouble with the Falcons. Roddy White, something with cannabis. I really wasn't paying attention. I don't think it'll affect him right now. It'll probably be after the season. But then again, playing with the Titans, playing with A.J. Brown, Tannehill, Derrick Henry. That's a pretty good offense. Honestly, I'd take Julio Jones over David Johnson, Raheem Mostert, Kenny Golladay. So he's probably a top 5 pick. That's why I have him in the first round. Somebody's going to take him. I know he's older, and we're a keeper league. You try to get your keepers to be first round, second round picks to be keepers. But maybe you can get a couple more years out of Julio. Falcons running back Mike Davis. With Milky keeping Darrell Henderson, I don't see him keeping Mike Davis, which puts him back into the draft. There at the end of the first round, beginning of the second round. So, there's not many running backs out there for this keeper league. So, if you're Dan and you're at that 8-9 turn, and you really need a running back, Mike Davis. If not, he'll be falling, a little bit later into the second round. I know Dan doesn't need a running back. Tanner doesn't need a running back. I don't need a running back. There's only a couple teams that really need a running back. So I can see Mike Davis falling down probably the 3rd or 4th round. Same thing with David Johnson and Kenny Golladay. Well, Kenny Golladay will get picked early. I'm sure Cody will pick him up. But David Johnson and Mike Davis, I can see them falling down in the 3rd or 4th round. And then 10th, Dolphins running back Myles Gaskin. he'll get the volume just like Mike Davis, but then again, are they first round picks or the third or fourth round picks? I'm thinking he's more of a third or fourth round pick, but again, if you really need a running back there at the end of the first round, beginning of the second round, maybe you didn't keep any running backs, or you kept one running back, you really need one. So here's the top 10 players as of right now who I think are not being kept in our league. So here's the top 10. So I want you to think of where you are in the first round. This is what you have to look at. So there's still a lot of good players out there in the second, third, fourth rounds. A lot of younger players too. So I believe